Maseches Avos, Pirkei, Chapter 2, Mishnah Tes, the 9th Mishnah. We're going further with Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai and speaking to and of his students, his famous students. So Amar Lahim, he said to them, Tzu'u, go out, Ru'u, and see, Ezehi derech yeshara. Go see what is the straight path. She'id bakbo ha'adam, that a man should attach himself to, that he should cleave to. What path, what quality should we look to hold to closely in order to prosper in this life, to do well in this life, in the eyes of God? Is what he's asking. So Rabbi Eliezer Omer, Ein Tova. He says that Rabbi Eliezer says that we have to go for an Ein Tova. We have to go for a good eye. We have to judge people favorably. We have to see things in the best light possible. Rabbi Yoshua Omer, Rabbi Yoshua says, Chaver Tov. We have to cling to a good friend, a good chaver. And, like by the same token, we have to be friendly, good friends ourselves. Rabbi Yosef Omer, Rabbi Yosef says, Shachen Tov, we have to cling to a good neighbor, and likewise we have to be good neighbors. We have to be neighborly. We have to not be disruptive. Rabbi Shimon Omer, Rabbi Shimon says, Haroeh es hanolad. He says we have to be somebody who sees, Haroeh, who sees esanolad, what's going to be born out from any given thing. What nolad means born, like as in a baby. But what he means is the outcome. We have to see what the outcome is of any particular action or course of action, or even ideas. We have to see what the outcome of these things are. So we should cling to a path, in which we are sort of introspective and philosophical about things, so that we can try to figure out, we can try to see the fruits that our various actions in this life bear. Rabbi Elazar Omer, Rabbi Elazar says, Lev Tov. He says that you should have a Lev Tov. You should have a good heart. You should have a good heart. Amar lahem, and he said to them, Roe ani as divrei Elazar ben Arach midrechem. I see, or I agree to the words of Elazar ben Arach midrechem, more so than from your words. Meaning that I agree with Elazar ben Arach. He's saying right. Why? Shibeklal divrav, because because in all of his words, your words are included. What you've said is included in his words. What he summed up very easily as having a lev tov includes all these other ideas and qualities that the others said that they should cling to. Okay. Further, and we have a parallel. The second half is just parallel to the first half. Amar Lahim, he said to them, Tzu'u, go out, Uru, and see, Ezehi derech ra, sheyisrachek memenu ha'adam. Go out and see what is the derech ra, the bad way. Sheyisrachek, that a man should distance himself memenu from ha'adam. Yeah, that a man should distance himself from. So we see, for the most part, we see just inversions, negations of what was said earlier. Rabbi Eliezer Omer, he says, Ein Ra. He says you should avoid having a bad eye. You should, obviously, he said earlier, you should see everybody. You should have Ein Tov. You should see everything favorably. So you should avoid having an Ein Ra. You should avoid seeing things in a negative light. Rabbi Yoshua Omer, he says, Chaver Ra. You should avoid having a bad friend. You should avoid being a bad friend. Rabbi Yossi says, Shachen ra, you should avoid having a bad neighbor. You should avoid being a bad neighbor. Rabbi Shimon says, Halove ve'en l'mishalem. You should avoid being somebody who borrows and doesn't pay. Ve'en l'mishalem, and doesn't pay. Why? Echad halove min ha'adam. That a person who borrows from man, kilove min ha'mocham. He's like somebody who's borrowing from the mocham. That's another word for God. Min ha'mocham baruch hu. Blessed be He. From the mocham is a appellation of God. Literally, the Hebrew means place, but the connotation here is the omnipresent. In other words, there is not a place where God is not, therefore He is the place. That is basically how that is explained. So mocham means omnipresent, I think is how we would say it in English. Okay, he said if you borrow from a person, it's like you're borrowing from God, because God gives that person that you borrowed from the $5 you borrowed from him, and that was reckoned to that person to be part of their sustenance, what they had, and you're unduly taking it. It's like you're borrowing what God gave that person, so it's as if you're borrowing from God. Shenemar, like it says in Tehillim 37:21, that's Psalms 37:21. It says Lova Rasha, a evil a wicked person borrows v'lo yishalem, and he doesn't pay. V'tzadik, and a saintly, a righteous person, chonen, he's gracious, v'nosen, and he gives. So that's that. You should that's a pretty good advice. You should always pay up your debts. But it's so easy to say, well, he's rich. I don't have to pay him back. It's not going to hurt him. But we are, in a sense, it's as if we're borrowing from God. Okay, let's go further. Rabbi Elazar Omer, lev ra, you should avoid a bad heart. So, predictably, Omer lahem, he said to them, Ra ani es divrei Elazar ben Arach, b'divrechem. I concede more so to the words of Elazar ben Arach, more so than from your words. Why? Shibechlal divrav, divrechem, because included in in his words are your words. Those things, those qualities you said that we should seek to avoid, those are those are encompassed by the term levra, a bad heart. So that's somebody who has a bad heart could do all those things that we should avoid. So we should just avoid having a bad heart. Somebody who has a lev tov would live up to those qualities that we had mentioned previously. Okay, thank you very much. We'll see you for the next Mishnah called Tuv Hatzlacha Rabbah.